So welcome back, guys, to number 4 in the 6 human needs: love and connection. Quick recap: certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection. Here we go. Quick recap on. Remember, you have your sheet of paper and you are working through these and just basically acknowledging the goods and the not so goods, the vehicles that you have been using to meet your needs, the positive ones and the not so positive ones. Write them down. It all helps to make sense in the end. Okay. So love and connection. Who has a need for love and connection? All human beings have a need for love and connection. It's just down to how do we go about meeting these needs. Maybe sympathy via sickness. Now this is one that I can also relate to. I can relate to lots of them. I haven't just picked only a couple because only 2 of these are like applied to me. Lots of them that applied, but the more significant and I think the more common ones that are out there rippling through humanity. Vehicles, easily obtainable, low level, lazy, destructive ways and vehicles that we use to meet our needs. And it's most certainly one that I learned from a long time ago, from when I was a child. So we're going to kind of maybe venture into a little bit of sort of learning about generational development maybe. So how would I have met my needs through sympathy via sickness? I felt loved and I felt connected by my parents if I was to show snivels. So I guess my parents, primarily my mum, it's very common for mum to, so my mum was quite certainty driven, as in she had a high need for certainty around maybe her kids, which is quite common, it's quite normal, is that you want to avoid any uncertainty when it comes to your kids. So the slightest sign of maybe a snivel or a runny nose, I was whisked off to the doctor, or the doctor was demanded to come round and pay a visit. And of course, what did I learn? What did I learn when I wanted maybe some sympathy? Not just sympathy. What did I know from a very early age? What is it that I need to do if I don't want to go to school? If I want to opt out of maybe a situation or something that I don't feel comfortable doing, and I don't really want to be there, and I don't want to go there, I want to get out of doing and having to do something or be somewhere or be someone. So I would use sickness. So it's that neuroassociative conditioning. Neuroassociative conditioning is behind pretty much all of what we're talking about, especially when it becomes a problem. Not just a problem, actually, it's really what creates us one way or another. So sympathy, getting sympathy via sickness can give you a sense of love and connection. Is it one that's sustainable? It's not, is it? It's okay for us in the moment, but it's not sustainable, which makes it not a particularly good vehicle. It's not a sustainable vehicle. It's not always good for others, is it? Especially if we kind of manipulate the whole deal by making out that we're sick in order to get sympathy, just because we know it works. Very easy, lazy way of doing it, but it's very, 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 very common. Far more common than we'll ever know. Now you do know, it's very common. Having problems, just generally having a problem. Having a problem can have other people come rescue you. We can kind of venture into the whole drama triangle thing again, can't we? Having problems is really, we all have problems. Every human being has a problem. Quite often we see the problems much worse. Quite often we'll see problems much worse than what they really are. We see it much worse than what the actual problem is. Quite often a problem, there's always something to gain from the problem by learning, by adapting ourselves, deciding that we're going to challenge ourselves and work and find a way around this problem. I realise there's going to be problems that are not quite so easy to get around. It's all different types of problems, isn't there? Everyone's circumstances are most certainly different. But creating and having problems as a means to feel connected to other human beings and to feel loved is sort of drama triangle stuff. Is you're being a victim, quite often unconsciously, sometimes deliberately. If it's a deliberate set of strategies we're using, creating problems in order to get love and affection and attention. Having problems can also give us a sense of safety and security and comfort. So that's another need met by having problems. It can also meet, again, simultaneously, the need for uncertainty, stimulus and change by having problems. It can also meet our needs for significance, gives us a sense of unique identity, not in a good way, but in a way. So having problems and avoiding any form of learning of resolution around these problems. So that's a problem. That's the biggest problem, isn't it? Is knowing maybe that there are options and solutions and ways around our problems, but we're keeping the problem. We're deciding that we want to keep hold of this problem because at least I get some certainty. At least I get some stimulus and change and excitement and drama. And at least I'm going to feel unique and, somebody by having this problem, because my problem's bigger than everyone else's problem. So significance. And also I'm going to feel connected, maybe even feel on a kind of toxic level. I'm going to feel loved by some people by having these problems. Are you getting it? Okay. Smoking. We can feel connected to other people through smoking. If you are a smoker, or if you're not a smoker, we're out in groups of people and somebody will say, I'm going outside in the smoking area for a fag. Is anyone coming? Quite often people will get up and go just because it's a learned mechanism, a learned behavior. It's a learned strategy that we've adopted, that, that whole going outside means connection with other people. Bit of private connection with other people, where you can now, maybe you get the stimulation now of even a bit of backbiting and backstabbing and talking about the people that are still inside, maybe. So it's all about meeting needs, all of it. It's quite scary when you start understanding and being able to put it into words and being able to decipher it and explain it of all of these behaviors that we all do. So alcohol, again, self-explanatory. It's another way that people will connect. Very rarely you'll see people that will frequent your local pub that drink coffee. It's something that I often will do, but other times I will go there and I'll drink alcohol. But I don't need the alcohol to connect with people, because I'm able to go to the pub. If I'm sitting here in my office recording, or I've got a quiet day and there isn't anyone around, I'll nip up the road to my local pub and sit there and have a chat with people, or might even sit in the corner with a beer and answer emails and catch up on a bit of bits and bobs. But if you're using the alcohol as the driving mechanism to connect with other people, then it's something that needs addressing for sure. Because alcohol, what needs does it meet? You would have worked that one out by now, wouldn't you? You would have worked out that alcohol meets the needs for certainty, uncertainty, significance, and love and connection. Compliance, so getting other people to comply, or being compliant to other people, using maybe guilt. So feeling compliant, or getting other people to comply to you by using guilt. It's a bit of a toxic, negative way of meeting our needs for love and connection, isn't it? Intimacy, it's a positive one, obviously, isn't it? Being intimate with people, with your loved one, is a good sense of love and connection. Spirituality, it's a good way of meeting other people at different clubs and groups wherever we go, or maybe a good way of reconnecting with oneself, because that's actually the highest on the list, the best, the most productive, best quality vehicle that we can use to meet our needs for love and connection is actually learning to be at one and connected, and to know, really know, on an intimate level, on a spiritual level, yourself. Because then anything outside of you is much easier. At least our self can never be taken away. If we get reliant on having connection and love in a relationship to another person through maybe a codependent relationship, then that other person may well not be around all of the time. So you're going to be left with terrible disappointment and emptiness. So we are somebody that we can always rely upon, because we all have the resourcefulness, the resources. Actually, we have all of those inside of us already to survive and to succeed in life. Clubs, yep, good way of connecting with other people. It's a positive one. Pets, good positive one. Absolutely, get connected. Again, if we're relying upon just that, it's a problem. We need to connect with oneself as well. Develop a good relationship with oneself. That's the top one. That's the one that I should have said, really. Developing a good relationship with oneself. Pets, yeah, nature is a good one. Being a leader, leading the way, is a good way of connecting with other people. Giving, being a giver, is a good way to feel love, to give love, to feel connected to groups of people that are all like-minded. Giving is good. You feel loved when you're giving your presents at Christmas and giving gifts to other people. And of course, sex. Sex is a good one. Very stimulating. Meets all of the needs, that one, doesn't it? Is certainty, uncertainty, makes you feel significant, especially if you are doing a good job and allowing the other person to express oneself as themselves as well. So sex is a good one. So that is love and connection, number 4. So a quick recap. Make sure you are applying all of these, the good ones and the not so good ones, the healthy ones and the not so healthy ones. What vehicles have you been using? Okay, and have you by now maybe yet worked out what your primary values have been? Our primary values is the one that we have high need for. You can look at it that way, high need for it. Or if we haven't, or if we're not getting it, if we're not having that need met, it's a problem for us. That's how you can distinguish which one's your higher values, your primary needs. Okay, so you probably would have worked that one out by now. So that's the end of number 4. So that's the last one of our physical, biochemical, our body, physical self, our emotional, mental needs. The next 2 are going to be about our software, the spiritual needs. Okay, so I will see you again very soon.